Today, I'm sitting down with Shondra Beach. We talk about the emotions behind real estate, the challenges of waterfront properties, and how she's built a brand that stands out even in the small market in Jefferson County, way up in northern New York. This is Real Estate is Local. I'm your host, Colin Parody. Let's dive in. All right. Shondra Beach, we are live. Welcome to Real Estate is Local, my friend. This is, wow, I don't even know how to describe you right off the rip, Shondra. Luxury agent, ex newscaster, made for the camera. I'm
People
going
are
to
gonna
make you
think I'm
blush
paying
right
you to say
away.
all this stuff.
Yes. Well, Shondra, it's about time that you're on the podcast. Welcome, my friend.
To be here. Thank you
Let's
for
kind
having
of
me.
Let's dive into it though, right? Give a little background, a quick 30-second deep dive on Shondra Beach.
Oh boy, 30 seconds. Well, I'm sure you might be able to tell from my accent. I'm not an American native. I'm from Canada, born and raised, but I did get my citizenship back in August. So I'm now one of you. I am a proud American citizen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I
Uh,
love it. Woo!
So I live on Wellesley Island and with my husband Radley and my 9-year-old son Braden and our golden doodle Maddie. And I've lived over here for 13 years and love Wellesley Island. We live right on the St. Lawrence River. Can't beat it. Every day you look out and there's ships going by. We're incredibly fortunate to be able to live where we live. And yeah, back in 2021, I've been in sales for over 20 years, but unfortunately, COVID wiped out my employment at the time, and I was working in Kingston, Ontario for a hockey team and for hotels. And obviously, COVID did away with both of those careers. But I picked
Sure.
myself up, brushed myself off, and went and got my real estate license. And it's been going phenomenal since then. And I'm very, very fortunate for the success I've had.
Well, I was lucky to just pop by your
Yep, I
old
remember it
office
like it
one
was
day
yesterday.
and and meet you. So I figured I would start with a question that I asked you the first day that I met you, which is what got you started in real estate? Because I was like Canadian newscaster when you said it. I was like, that's perfect, right? Like, what brought you over here to this industry?
Good question, Colin. So, like I always been in sales. I love sales. Every day is different. You're not stuck behind a desk, and always had real estate in the back of my mind. And in 2021, there was no time better than what it was back then. And I went and got my license. And yeah,
Yeah. So you've worked, I mean, we've worked a couple of different buy side transactions together, right? But like, I know you really work with sellers a lot, but like, what do you think if I had to ask you your favorite part of this, right? Like working with buyers and sellers, what's your favorite part about maybe both? Give me a quick tidbit about both. Working with a seller, working with a buyer. What's your favorite part?
sure. I love working with both. I do a little bit more on the seller side. I just love going out to the listing appointment. Before we list, I do a comparative market analysis, which tells them what their home and property could potentially sell for in today's market. And if they decide to list, perfect. If they just wanted the information for their own personal knowledge, perfect. There's no cost, no obligation. And if they do decide to list, we get the photographer out there. I do listing videos, and we get it on the market, and hopefully we get some showings and eventually some offers. So that's the sell
That's what I'm
side.
talking about.
On the buy side, again, meeting new people, taking them out. I love looking at properties, and I have fun with it. I make the process as light and easy and fun as you can, because it's not always fun, unfortunately. Sometimes things do happen and it can be stressful, it can be frustrating, it can be very, very emotional, and I do everything I can to make it easy.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say it any better myself, right? Man, if I said that, if you'd asked me that question, I'd be like, it's just a roller coaster. So there's a lot of favorite parts I
Roller
have, right?
coaster
Like
is
it
a,
just
a
depends.
very, very good way to sum it up.
What's something people should know about Chandra outside of real estate?
Boy, what's one thing that people should know is what you see is what you get. I don't take myself too serious, but I like to have fun. I value my family very, very much. I value my community. I love where I live. I came from a nice area in Canada, but living in the Thousand Islands, I wake up every day and I'm just like, how did I get so lucky? It's such a beautiful area, and if I can help someone find a property in the Thousand Islands, then there's nothing more rewarding.
Well, that's one thing you and we also talked about right when we met. I got into this business because I was a buyer first, right? And it kind of gave me a different perspective to help clients really understand. Like, I get it. This is not something that's taught to us, right? So to be
Mm-mm.
able to help people buy is awesome. But then, like you said, your favorite thing is waking up on the river. So to be able to do that for someone else has got to be very special for you.
Absolutely, to help people be able to do that too. Yeah.
Well, listen, I know you love the river and live on the river, right? But let's talk about the actual entire market you service up there in Jefferson County, also a little bit in St. Lawrence County in northern New York. Hey, for all those Florida people that might be watching this, it's an hour north of Syracuse, 30 minutes south of Canada. That's kind of how I describe it. So,
It's not New York.
um,
New York is not New York. There's a
it
world
is
outside
not.
New York City.
It is not. Yes, right, and who knows, maybe I'll get a graphic that shows upstate New York, right? So, but, like, let's talk about that market specifically, and let's do the market minute, right? And so, how would you describe the current market? Are homes moving quick, or is things starting to cool down with the weather up there?
I have one word for you, Colin, to describe the market today: weird. It's a weird market. There's beautiful homes in the city of Watertown, renovated, remodeled, and they're reasonably priced and they're sitting. Things are tending right now to stay on the market longer than they were 2 or 3 years ago. Interest rates are coming down, and I think will continue to come down. You can speak better to that than I can. So that's encouraging, but it's a strange market. Even waterfront, it's things are definitely staying on the market longer than they were, like I mentioned, 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, that market is pretty seasonal up there, so things do kinda cool down with the winter months as well. Little pro tip, I know you and I have talked on this before. If you're thinking about buying in Northern New York, December is, like, the best time to do it. Everybody is kind of not very busy. There's a lot of quick work that happens at the county level, at the title level, at the attorney, like, all the different things kinda move because people really aren't as busy, so that's kind of an
Exactly.
insider tip right
Exactly.
there.
And just to also mention, that you just reminded me that, yeah, I've had some listings, waterfront listings on the river. They've sat idle all summer. And then just recently, everything was bam, bam, bam going under contract. I'm certainly not complaining, but I don't know, maybe people were waiting for the prices to fall and they saw that they weren't going to. So they're like, let's put an offer in so we can get the place closed and be able to use it next summer. But it's been good. Absolutely. I've had a great year.
Yeah. Well, I had a guy at an investor meetup. He's got 75 homes. He's pretty credible KW, owner, broker, the whole nine, right? And he was saying something that I hadn't really thought about, and it's going to not get political, but that bill that got passed, the big beautiful bill, included in it was what's called 100% depreciation. So, investors are actually their accountants are saying, "Hey, go buy by the end of the year. You have to because we can take all this bonus write off and all that." So
Okay.
that's also something in the market that I didn't anticipate, but maybe that's a reason you're seeing people just acquire stuff, right? They like the write off, they can take it, so on and so
I
forth. So
personally,
that's something also to
I
keep
love
an eye,
write-offs.
right? Write offs,
Write-offs,
yeah,
write-offs,
absolutely.
write-offs, yep. Right.
100%. That's what honestly, that's the best part about being in business is write-offs, right? So, absolutely. Well, let's not go CPA nerdy on
No, let's
everybody,
not.
right? But let's bring it back more towards the real estate. Are you seeing more activity right now? And I know you said you are, but like, would you say if I had to say, Chandra, more buyers, more sellers, what do you see right now?
Definitely more buyers. In my circumstance, most people right now are closing up their seasonal properties, cottages on the river, and hopefully they'll relist in the spring. But my river business is slowing down. So yeah, I'm going elsewhere. Like I mentioned, my closing yesterday was in Adams, New York. I had one the week before in Carthage.
Yep.
There's all kinds of wonderful areas. It's not just all about the river. There's wonderful areas all around us. So we're very fortunate
Yeah.
to live in a great area, to have Fort Drum as a huge draw and economic boost for the area. So it's a wonderful.
Yes, we talked about the actual buyers and sellers, right? And we kind of talked about really the supply in a way. But as you said, you've kind of diversified your individual business, right? When we first started talking, we were talking only about the river, but then you've really kind of carved your own little niche around the county, but you've also worked with some commercial style spaces and properties as
Yep.
well. So why
Yep.
don't you touch on that a little bit? I mean, what's the commercial market look like up there? I mean, are you seeing things move? Are you seeing more of those properties come on for sale?
We don't do a lot of commercial, Colin. Like you said, I have sold a few in the past, but yeah, I think it's the same. It's a weird market right across the board, but hopefully we'll see interest rates continue to drop, and we'll see sales to continue to go up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even to stay on the commercial stuff, not necessarily to talk about it, right, for an hour, but, give maybe somebody a tip because you've sold a couple of those properties, right? Like if somebody's thinking about selling before a year end, like what's a tip for them to get kind of ready and make things go smoother if you could go back and have things go smoother for you?
For a commercial property or just a property in general?
Yeah, and by the way, for those at home, like when I say commercial property, it also means like a commercial space with apartments upstairs too, right? Like so it's not necessarily just a big industrial building or anything like that, right? And Chandra's sold a couple very unique
Yep.
style properties as well.
Yep.
So what would be a tip, right? Let's say somebody that's got maybe a mixed use property or even a restaurant for sale, because I know you've sold a restaurant as well.
So I would just get in touch with a realtor and have them do a comparative market analysis. Some people call it a market valuation, and that will just tell you what your property could potentially sell for in today's market based on comps, which are similar properties which have sold recently. So just try to get your head wrapped around what it could potentially sell for, and then do some improvements. Your realtor should tell you what they recommend, just to make sure you get as much money for the property as possible, and do what they say. They've done a lot of this in most cases, and try to do what they tell you to do, and that will certainly help to maximize what you are able to sell it for.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, and that's an interesting style of market, right? And how, the way they classify it and all that. But let's kind of dial back more towards what you started with, which is the river, right? And waterfront. But like my dream has always been to buy a place on the water. I love it. There's nothing better. I've spent some time on the river, woke up there in the morning. It's beautiful. Same thing with Lake Ontario. It's beautiful down here on the coast. Gorgeous. Love it, right? I just love waterfront property, but for someone else that's dreaming of buying a place on the water, like what should they know in comparison to someone that is buying just a normal style home? What are the challenges of waterfront homes?
Challenges of waterfront are accessibility. If it's a seasonal property down a seasonal road, you might have some issues getting financing. I'm sure you can speak more to that than I can.
Very true. A
Yep.
couple properties. I know we've tried to work with a couple buyers doing some things, and yeah, I mean, it really needs to have a septic system and really all the bells and whistles, right? Like hey, attached to power, clean water, all that stuff that a normal loan will be
Yep.
required on a
Yep. Definitely.
waterfront. So
Definitely. Be prepared for some higher taxes with waterfront.
that's a good tidbit. No, it's true, right? And I mean, and that's a huge piece. For somebody out there that's trying to get a mortgage to buy a waterfront property, that is something that you have to consider because it's going to be tied into your payment
Yep.
9 times out of 10.
Yep. Yep.
But hey, the people that are buying waterfront generally aren't trying to shoot above their budget, right? So, and a lot of them are buying vacation or cottages, right? So, would you say those type of properties on the waterfront are still attracting like a lot of out of town buyers, or is it locals? People from Adams trying to get a place on the river or on the lake.
I find it's more out of town buyers. Not to say that locals aren't looking either, but I find I get a lot of buyers looking for waterfront who are from Florida, Virginia, Syracuse, Rochester. I have a lot from Rochester, Syracuse. Those I would have to say are where the majority right now are coming from. But just also to add to the last question, deal locally. Deal with a local lender, local attorney. I just ran into a situation. I just sold a beautiful cottage in Hammond, New York, in St. Lawrence County, and
Mhm.
my buyer first started with one of the larger finance companies, and they made And just because that's who he had all his insurances with, so it made sense. Unfortunately, they weren't able to appraise the property, so I put him on to a local lender who got it appraised, and we just closed a few weeks ago. This family had been sacrificing for 25 years to be able to find a property on the river, and I was just so happy to be a part of that and to help them make it a reality.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, those wins really, I think, is what you have to do. You have to stack so many wins that the
Yes.
losses just don't matter
Yep.
anymore.
That's it.
And then that's awesome, right? Like I'm happy for your client and good for them for buying waterfront and enjoying the river, right? It's only nice like 3 months out of the year, so really enjoy it.
Easy. Easy. This year, yeah, we didn't get summer until what, July?
Yeah, kind of tough, kind of tough. Like we talked about before we hopped on. I'm not gonna tell you what
No,
it
I
is
don't want to
outside
know.
here in
La
Florida.
la 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 la
All
la
right,
la. I don't want to know.
all right. So now we're gonna pivot, and I'm coming at you with rapid fire questions.
Geez.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right. So first one, brace for impact. What's the fastest you've ever sold a home?
One day. Like, do you mean
Talk
go
about it.
under I'd go under contract or close it?
Contract to close. Let's do.
Contract to close? Oh boy. I'm finding it's taking a little bit longer. Right now it's about 45 to 60 days. More
Gotcha.
realistically,
Okay.
60, sometimes 60 plus days. But I do everything I can. I stay in contact with the attorneys because I find if you don't, your file will go to the bottom of the foot high pile on their desk. So you really have to not be annoying, but just keep them
Sure.
thinking about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always give a shout out to our attorney, Tanea Sparacino. She's the
She's
best. Love
awesome.
her.
Yeah, she's good.
She really makes the difference for us 9 times out of 10 with our clients, right?
Yeah, she's
So,
great.
it's really a piece in different markets, right? So down here in Florida, we just have title people,
We
right? And
follow.
I've met a lot of them
Yes.
and they're great.
Yep.
But in New York, we have a lawyer generally, and then we also work with title companies to do some back end stuff with
Right.
abstracts and other
Yep.
things. Great people, but you really got to try to build relationships with them to make sure. And that's another key thing when interviewing a realtor is, make sure you have somebody that has relationships in the community because if it's somebody that doesn't have any relationships, then they're not going to get things done the way you need them to, right? So, fastest you ever sold a home, okay, that's fair.
That was
Well,
going
okay,
under
so let's
contract.
talk about okay, so under contract, right? Let's talk about fastest you've ever got. So would one day be the fastest you've ever got one like offer accepted
Yep.
in a day? Gotcha.
Yeah. What do you expect? What half an hour? These things take time.
Hey, well, I thought you would already have it sold before you even got it on the market. I thought you have all these connections. We just talked about that, right? So, well, what's the craziest thing you've seen during a showing for a buyer?
Craziest thing, I have 2. I have 2. Since we're almost at Halloween, I was showing a vacant lot to some buyers one day, luckily in the daylight, and we just happened to come across we were just walking through the bushes, and actually one of my buyers tripped on a tombstone. Yes, a tombstone. So that can be a nightmare because, if I guess if you do, discover remains on your property, you have to call in the authorities. It would be not the best situation, but I think it was way back from the 1800s. I think is what we were told. So I think it didn't turn into that big of a situation, but still catch you off guard when you're walking through some land and come across a tombstone.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot. Not necessarily tombstones, but I talk about the difference between like where I came from and where I live now and the architecture and the way that homes were built. I mean, you don't really find a lot of homes here that were built in the 1800s. A lot of property, a lot of homes, a lot of different things up there were built. Land was
We don't
partitioned
have
off,
we
and
don't have hurricanes, knock on wood. So our
that's
protection
true.
tends to
Just
stick
blizzards,
around.
just blizzards. Yeah. So,
This burgers, which I will
yeah,
take
no,
happily over a hurricane.
pretty tough. Pretty tough. All
Weird
right.
item
Well,
number 2, just a
last
second.
rapid fire.
Wait a second.
What's that?
My second weird item.
Yeah. Yes.
So I walked into this house, and on the coffee table was a statue of a naked lady. Almost took up the entire coffee table. Yep. So kind of catch you off guard.
I've heard like I've heard so many stories from agents, and that's like my favorite question to ask. So
That's a good
I'm
question.
happy I'm happy it wasn't a naked real person.
It could be worse. Yes, I'm happy it was.
It could be. It could be. So, all right. Last rapid fire question. You ready? What's one thing you wish every buyer knew before starting the process?
To go and get pre-approved. I don't want to take you out and you fall in love with a property that's way above your budget and then you have to have your heart broken. So go to a lender such as Movement Mortgage and make sure you get pre-approved so you know what price range of homes you should be looking at.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that the process isn't like go to the bank first for 9 out of 10 people.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
I know.
That's one thing that maybe surprises me about the real estate industry still. The way that the process is kind of interesting like that. But okay, well, let's roll from those rapid fire questions into my hot topic for you today, which is, do real estate agents in smaller markets need to build a brand like agents in New York City or the other large markets do?
100% you do. You have to make yourself memorable. You have to make yourself stick out from the competition. And even in Jefferson County, we have thousand no how many hundreds of agents I think, and you have to make yourself top of mind when people are like, oh, I think I'm going to sell my house. Who should I call? You want your name to pop into their head first, and to do that, you need to build a brand. Absolutely.
So, like, what does building a brand look like for you? And are you intentional about like how you are online and how you are in the community?
I try to be. I refer to myself as the river realtor because I live on the river year round. I support many causes along the river. I volunteer in all the river communities, Clayton, Alexandria Bay, Wellesley Island, and the river's my home and I love it. And like I said earlier, I love helping people find properties on the river so that they can experience how wonderful it is too.
Yeah, I think, if I had to like take a devil's advocate point, right? Like, there are agents out there in small markets where like they just have this huge sphere like built in and they just dominate a local market and they're not on Facebook even, right? Like, I've seen that.
Me too.
It's super interesting, right? Like, so there is another side to this where,
Absolutely.
people are like, I don't care about my brand. What are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to be on a TV show, right? Like, all that, right? But I don't know. I just feel like if you have the option to basically do nothing and make money, or you could do a little bit more,
Yep.
be present on the social digital part and make more, right? And it's not all about making money, but that's how we like keep score
Yeah, for sure. Just
of
put
how
yourself.
many people we've helped.
Yeah, just getting yourself out there. When I first started, I started doing listing videos, and I'm out at a restaurant. People are like, "Oh, I love your last video." Like that it's a lot of work, and I love doing it, but that really makes it worthwhile. And someone comes up to you and comments, and just getting out there, not necessarily just on social media, but physically getting out. Restaurants, met clients at restaurants, just being out in the community. And like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah, for sure.
volunteering, helping, every bit helps. Plus, I love it.
Yeah, my next question was also like, hey, do you think being a local expert on video really matters in today's market? But it sounds like the answer to that is absolutely.
I think you need
Yes, it
to ask an
does.
expert because that's not me. I am by far not an expert. I just have fun
You
with
can't
it.
disagree with yourself.
I have fun with it. I do my best, and like I said, I don't take myself too seriously.
Yeah, you can't disagree with yourself though. You know it, right? Like, you got to make those Chandra videos because everybody loves them. And when you're standing at the front and you've got you got the microphone going, you know what I mean? Come on, that's the best. That's the best. That's Canadian newscaster gonna sell your home quicker than other people. You got to deal with it, right? Like, that's what I'm talking
I
about.
love your vote of confidence, Colin. Thank you.
Well, and that's what this is all about, right? Is just kind of giving some people. I didn't realize how many people didn't wanna get on a recorded video call with you until I started, like, asking people if they would do this with me,
Oh, I
and
bet.
some people just do not want any part of this,
Nope,
right? And
we don't.
so, but there's a piece where, some terrible things have happened in my life and the community was there for me and all that, right? But the people, it's a consistent, hey, love the videos, right? And I don't know, like, we've talked about this. I don't know if people are seeing this. I don't know, right? But like for me, it's like if they could take one thing or two things from us having a conversation for 30 minutes, then that's awesome.
Yep, absolutely. And you do a wonderful job, Colin. And you have a wonderful following. I think back in the summer we had grabbed a drink together at the boatyard in Clayton. and
Yeah.
put it on Facebook. I think that's one of my most liked posts.
Uh,
Thanks to you because you have a
hey,
much larger following than I do. So I'm just going to ride your
hey,
coattails if that's okay.
yeah, but like again, that's the hard thing for me, right? Is I'm trying to inspire other people to do it more, but like I don't like to do it as much as I like to talk about it, right? So it's like really trying to do this with people that, make me want to get on camera also is a real benefit, right? So I appreciate you doing this and taking the time and all that good stuff, right? So
Anything for you.
let's kind of let's close it up because I think we've been going for about a half hour and I feel like we've got lots of
It
good
hasn't
little
seemed that
nuggets of info.
it hasn't seemed that long. Has it
That's
been half an hour?
that's what happens, right? When we
Time
have some
flies.
fun like this. When we have some fun like this, right? So, but in like I want to roll through kind of some closing, right? And we'll chat it out a little bit more than usual, right? Because we've only gone for a half hour. But I want to know what's all the advice we've talked about today. They kind of cover different things and different snippets and segments and niches and other things. If somebody is thinking about getting their real estate license or they're thinking about buying their first duplex, which ultimately leads you into these types of conversations, what's the best piece of advice you feel you've gotten from a mentor that you could pass along to them?
Well, I'm going to name my mentor. It's Melanie Curley. She gave me my start in real estate. She's a wonderful realtor, one of the most ethical, honest, hardworking realtors you'll ever want to meet. And, some of her advice was to get everything in writing. Very important in this business. Unfortunately, the good old days of the handshake is no longer. And just have fun. Just have fun, but do everything you can to help people, buyers, sellers, and just be as ethical, honest, communicate, and things should go the right way.
Yeah, we like to pick up the phone sometimes too much during the day, but even if it's bad news, sometimes it needs to be passed, right? And
Yep.
I don't know if
I'm old
I
fashioned.
could wait 5 days.
I prefer face to face in person. If I can't do that, a phone call, texting. I'm not a fan. I know it's necessary in this day and age, but I prefer face to face much better.
Hey, you're telling me trying to text and coordinate this thing with you. Holy cow.
I'm busy. Not really.
I know you are. I know you are. That's what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm going to try to get you on the podcast circuit before the news comes
Just
back and grabs you for their programming because it's going to happen. I'm telling you. All right. So let's keep talking about not necessarily the news paper, right? But let's talk about books. What's a resource, a book or a podcast or something that you feel you've listened to that it was like, wow, whether for life or for real estate or anything?
calling. So it was a very busy summer. I didn't get a chance to read too much. I really don't, and I'm not really on the podcast circuit. I'll be honest, I don't watch too many podcasts. I don't watch any.
So you're basically telling me you're real estate or you're momming, and that's pretty much it. That's it.
Yeah. I'm a full-time realtor. This is what I do. This is what I eat, sleep, breathe. But I have been asking now that I have a little bit more time on my hands. Now that the bit crazy summer season's over, I have been asking some of my colleagues what kind of podcasts they listen to. So I'm definitely gonna start. I'm gonna jump on the podcast bandwagon. So
Well,
ask me
yeah, I
that
mean, you
next
got it
time we
right.
do this. Ask me that question again, and hopefully I'll have a better answer.
Well, that would be cool, right? Since you don't have one, I'll give one. I had the pleasure to meet Rene Rodriguez at EXPCon last year, and that was pretty cool. His book is called Amplify Your Influence. He does the audio book. If you like people with smooth voices, Rene is for you. It's awesome. It really helps salespeople out there, understand that like for a lot of my job, it's explaining hard topics in a way that it makes sense. And I think that could be said for a lot of salespeople. And so Renee really breaks down like the psychological thinking and really amplifying the way that you communicate. And so I definitely would recommend that. So where can people connect with you online?
Online, as in terms of email or social media.
Website, social media, all of it. We're going to link it all down below in the description.
Okay,
So
yep. So I have a Facebook business page. I have Instagram. Haven't jumped on TikTok yet, but we'll see. Um, Probably my cell phone. I have my cell phone with me all the time. If I don't pick up, leave me a voicemail, and I will call you back. I do
I
make it
love
a
it.
point to call people back.
I love it. Well, I think if you make a TikTok, the first TikTok you have to make is doing the polar plunge this year in the river because that's hilarious.
Yeah, we'll be jumping in the mighty St. Lawrence in December again to raise money for the River Santa Festival. I can't wait.
That's so awesome. I love watching those videos and I'm looking forward to it. Well, this has been Real Estate is Local with my friend, Shondra Beach. Shondra, thank you so much for coming. I hope
Thank you.
everybody has a great day.